This is not the internet. This is the metaverse. Hello pioneers. Well, this week we've had a few upgrades, so let's take a look and see what that's all about. So we had the upgrade to protocol version 26 that I've been discussing. That was supposed to be done by August 11. And as you saw, they upgraded the testnet 2, and now we've completed onto the mainnet. Okay, so that was all done. Of course, we've got protocol 27 coming up to be announced, and we've been told that that's the last protocol upgrade. But as we always look at Stellar, they've announced protocol 28, so we know that's to come. Protocol 28 they call adapter. Okay, so faster consensus. That's always good. We always appreciate better consensus. Atomic upgrades and migration-friendly contract data. Okay, so mostly this is more developer tools to help them ease with making changes to their smart contracts. These are the key dates, and as you can see, there's a final vote for this in September. Okay, so Protocol 28 will come to Pi in due course. We've also had an upgrade to the Node desktop. So 0.6.2 is now the latest version, and we've also had some SoloHost updates. Now we have a look at the Node here, and we go into the setup. Okay, the main change here is that they've now added this open ports automatically button. Okay, so when you use that, it'll help you open up your ports, and I guess this is to get ready for cutting the nodes over to mainnet. Now if we go over to the SoloHost apps, as we know, we've got the Hermes agent that's been released by a core team, and we've had two more updates to this. Okay, so now we've got OpenClaw, another AI agent, and we've got Atlassian MCP server. Okay, so yeah, great additions here. And this is what this video is mostly going to be about, because I want to go through these things and give you a feel of how we could possibly use these things. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you in real life because I'm operating on an old computer here. So yeah, I can't actually upgrade my my Docker, okay, to install these stuff because yeah, it just doesn't work. I already tried it, so I had to regress there. Now, if you've got deep pockets out there and you want to support the channel, please go over to my wish list, and over there I've got a bunch of items where if I upgrade everything, I could actually use all this software and make future videos to show you all. Okay, so I'd appreciate that. Looking at the agents here, okay, so like I said, we've got two agents and an MCP server. Okay, so on the SoloHost ecosystem, we've got this like identity layer, okay, right? So we've got the Pi sign in and the Pi verify, right, for all us pioneers to verify ourselves. We've got the agent layer, okay, and we've got now this MCP server layer, okay? So this is all great additions. Now over on the IBM channel on YouTube, I watch this a lot because I used to work for IBM a lot. And they just released this video which is explaining all this perfectly in a nice little ecosystem here about all the verification credentials we need, all the agents and the MCPs, and how all this tooling works together. Now speaking of IBM, as I've been telling everyone, I used to work for IBM all over the world, and I just thought it might be fun to give you a quick rundown of my previous work history. In Australia, I had 10 years in the Air Force, and once I got out, I was doing computers, and so I mostly worked on IBM hardware, right? So I worked with logistics, banking, and oil and gas in Australia there. Then I moved over to Saudi Arabia, where I worked for SBM, which is Saudi Arabia's IBM, and our main client was Saudi Aramco, so working in oil and gas there. Then I went to Dublin, working for IBM there on their global web architecture, right? One of the main clients is like Wimbledon. Then on to India, where I had another stint with Pinot Nedloyd doing their outsourcing. Back to Thailand with IBM with their main client Car4, so that was retail. Back into Europe with Netherlands, okay, so I worked at the European Patent Office and ING Bank. Then down to Malaysia, working outsourcing again with EDS, and then finally with Maybank, okay. So that was just a little quick history there. I thought it was interesting, you know, just so you get to know me a bit better. And but mostly to say that, you know, all these client sites, they're all pretty well IBM hardware that I worked in, all these data centers, and all these data centers were absolutely huge. Okay, so yeah, nice little background there, I thought. Back to the IBM video. Okay, so if we take this little diagram here, we can actually expand on this. So when we look at this, what you're essentially looking at here is, you know, us people that use this stuff, using AI agents, communicating through LLMs. We have an identity layer. There's a token exchange to authorize the agents. They talk to NCP servers, which use a token vault so that they get temporary tokens, temporary authorization, and they import all the tooling that they require. Okay, so that's overlay the Pi network on top of this. Okay, so we've got us to start with, right? That's pretty cut and dry. We've got Pi sign-in to make sure that we're humans and that we're verified. We've got our 2 AI agents now, and they are creating through artificial intelligence, okay? They're LLMs, which we know through the cloud. And to get authorization here, there's a token exchange, okay? So this is pretty well Pi verify. We now have the MCP server, okay? And that imports all the tooling that we require. And now we have the vault access, okay? So I just mocked this up. This isn't actual Pi vault, but this all comes together under Pi sign-in, Pi verify anyway, okay? So, but this is a way that MCP can get their authorization credentials, but only temporarily, okay? Because we don't want them authorized all the time. And yeah, so we take the IBM sheet away, and this is what we're left with, okay? So you can see how we're still building this out as the same as all the industry standards. Now, we've got two AI agents, as I said, and an MCP server, okay? So why the 2 agents, okay? Now, last video, I talked about how there was another agent out there called Pi agent. And when we look at OpenClaw, OpenClaw is actually a wrapper on top of Pi agent SDK, okay? So there we get all that coincidence again and the naming convention, and yeah, it's come into the Pi ecosystem now through SoloHost. This is the kind of things that you can do through the Pi agent SDK, so obviously this can be done through OpenClaw. And you know, it's primarily used for more building applications of you know, whether they're mobile or web or desktop, and you know, being able to do all the back end and all that. Okay, so yeah, keep that in mind. With Hermes more general purpose. Okay, so this is where we can use agents and then roll out sub agents under a controller, and you know, do a lot of tasks that way. And I'm going to run all through this and give you a real world example. OpenClaw, okay, is more a specialized agent, okay? So like I said, this is for doing a bit more of the developer side. So Hermes, okay, like I said, it's a bit more for general purpose type functions. So the way we run it is, you know, we run this Hermes agent like here, and we base it as a controller, and then from that controller we release a whole bunch of sub-agents through that, okay? And then we control all our tasking through this mechanism. Now, there's a guy called Luke Ike on YouTube, okay? He's just a content creator that I watch, and when I was watching one of his videos, he was actually using Hermes agent as part of his company, because as you know, content creators, they you know, they'll do like merch lines and stuff like that. So yeah, Luke has his own merch line, okay, and this is it, no pressure, okay. So yeah, if you want to go support Luke because we're using his content, feel free to go over and purchase something. That'd be great. Now, Luke is essentially a one-man show, okay? But, you know, he's a bit of a smart cookie. So he's been looking into AI agents and in particular Hermes, okay? So using Hermes, he set up this agent called Charlie, and through Charlie, he talks to Hermes, which is another AI agent, and basically he's running his whole business through this, okay? So if we take a look at it, this is his little dashboard that he's created for himself, and he's got all these employees for him, all right, which are all AI agents. So using Hermes, you know, he's created himself a director, okay? He's got a YouTube manager. He's also got a life agent, okay, which I'm assuming he uses to remind him to go to the gym and go out and touch grass instead of sitting in front of the computer all day. He's got a brand creative, he's got a brand financial, and then he's got a finance agent, okay? So you can see here, Luke's running his whole business, right, as CEO, and using all these AI agents to run everything for him. And when he goes to sleep, they're still doing all their tasks. These guys work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, okay? So this is a great real-world example that I wanted to show you, so you can see how we can use Hermes and all the other AI agents and all the MCP servers, okay? So, because this is exactly how he set everything up. And of course, Luke has also used it to create that website that I showed you, okay? So you can see here that he's used everything to make all the designs correctly and all that. And I don't know, he mentioned particularly here that, you know, by doing this way, he actually saved himself $900 by making these graphics this way with all his t-shirt merchandise. So yeah, great real-world example there. Now, if you want to watch the video yourself, just go and watch this one. Okay, I think it's his second to last one, and you know, he'll give you a good explanation on how he did it all. Now, like I said, we've got the Hermes, OpenClaw, and the MCP server. Okay. Right, so Hermes, what can we use it for? Okay, well, how about we use it to task all our robots? So not only can we use it to run our businesses, we could use it to run our robots out there, as we know we're going to be doing. And of course, we're going to pay with Pi. OpenClaw, okay, it's a bit more developer friendly, right? We can use it to create desktop apps, web apps, and mobile apps, okay? Doing everything from front end to back end. That's a great thing. And then with the MCP server, okay, we can import smart contracts and the Pi SDK and have all that functionality. So that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed that. You know, I wanted to do a nice little walkthrough of all the AI agents and MCP server that just got released, and give you a real-world example of what you can expect to be able to do with these things. As you can see, we're getting a lot of updates now, a lot of things released. This is only going to ramp up towards the end of the year, and by the end of the year, I'm imagining we'll be starting to task robots and creating all our own applications ourselves using all these brand new AI tools that we can get into. So that's all great. Just a reminder, you know, like I said, I've got a wish list on Amazon there. The link's in the description down below. You know, if you've got deep pockets and you want to help out the channel, please consider you know, buying something off the list for me. You know, in particular, I need a brand new notebook so that you know, I can install all the latest software from PiCore team and continue making the videos so that you know, I can give you good examples of everything that we do. So that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.